able to create something on their own when they leave here. So that's just kind of like a overview. I'll probably do a little bit of that again, but I just wanted to do that before we started rolling.
Yeah.
Right?
Great.
Okay, cool. Got me there, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's be...
Carry on, just make yourself another brew.
Alright, so roll camera, please. Okay, hi. Welcome to Living Digital. My name is Chase Johnson Lynch, and I am running this course with WA called Living Digital. And sometimes, my curriculum manager says, those creative ideas of yours, because I do a film course, and I called it visual grammar. And he's like, I don't know if people understand what that means. Well, it's about being able to tell a story visually. Yeah, you know it. So Living Digital is one of those kind of titles. It sounds great, but what actually is it? So pretty much what we're going to be exploring within this course is not about how to live like a robot, but basically how to understand and navigate social media, right? Social media, the interwebs. As you can tell, I'm of an older generation. I come from I grew up in the 70s and everything. But what it is that if you think about the evolution of the computer, right? Starting out in the 50s and stuff like that, they were big size, cupboards. Looking like they had vinyl records on them, right? Spinning. And I love it, if anybody Batman, right? I love it how he goes, and he pulls out a hieroglyph code, which is those long index cards, which were just kind of like binary rectangles. And supposedly he goes, look, Robin, the Joker's going to attack the museum at 3 o'clock. And it's how does he know that? It's like he's reading Morse code, right? But it's what they call actually hieroglyph codes. And in that aspect, though, that's how the computer kind of started. When we as children was looking at it, it's wow, isn't that amazing? And it was also during that whole atomic age. There was a lot of fear going on, we don't know what the future is going to hold. And that atomic age moves into the nuclear age. And then we're still in that climate of fear. But what happens is that young people started to, envision the future past that. They started to fantasize about what it would be like, and what's amazing is, there are people in here that are of my age bracket. What's amazing is two particular shows in particular, is Star Trek and the Jetsons. How many remember those?
Yeah. Star Trek and what?
Star Trek.
And the Jacksons.
And the Jetsons. No, not the Jacksons.
Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
Oh, I don't know then.
No.
The cartoon, space cartoon.
Thank
no,
you.
I didn't know that.
It was set in the future, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now, here's the fantastic thing about the Jetsons. It was kind of at that time you had the Honeymooners, you had the Flintstones and everything, so they had the space-age future family, which for them, the future was the 80s.
Oh, did they get lost in space?
No, not that, not the Lost in Space, not the Robinsons. No, the Jetsons, what I'm trying to say is the Jetsons, what they did was, they traveled on travelators, conveyor belts.
Oh,
right? When George Jetson would get a call from his boss, Mr. Slate, he would call him on the video phone, which was like his TV. You know what I mean? So it's kind of you start to think, wait a minute. Back then, it was fantasy. It was a cartoon. Now, it's the present. You know what I mean? We have travelators everywhere.
Yeah.
We have monorails, right? We're not flying around in little mini spaceships like Elroy or anything like that, but we are on, video phones, FaceTime, right? And Star Trek was the same. So even though I'm still waiting for my personal teleporter, right? How did they communicate but with the clamshell, right? Yeah, I'm down here on this planet, and the signal is great, you know what I mean? And that's what we came out in the 90s. They came out with the clamshell phone. There's some people, because I've done this class for an older generation, the elders and stuff, and he still got them clamshell phones. You know what I mean? My point is that at some point in time, we've all woken up into the future, into the now. But when we come from that generation, that was a fantasy for us. We look at our children on phones and tablets and everything, and we think of them as toys. As devices, right? So I'll let my kid, be on the tablet, right? And it's okay. Why? Because he's not disturbing me. You know what I mean? He's in his room, swiping left, right? Have no clue what he's doing. And you know, so part of this course, like, I mean, we can talk about it, but it's like online safety and awareness because of the factor that we as parents need to know what our children are doing and not be surprised something happens. Not be surprised that our children who think they're talking to Charlie 27 from China is actually talking to old man Beasley from down the street without a clue, right? Because we've woken up into the future, and the future is now. And that's why creating this course of Living Digital is an awareness course. It's a course about not being afraid of digital technology, not being a technophobe around it, because that's what most people say, right? I don't know that device. But then it's funny when you see somebody's nan on the train, you know, trying to swipe, you know, a screen, you know, because it's archaic, you know, because of where we come from. But if we could demystify it, which is what the point of Living Digital is to demystify all of those elements. So that's kind of like an overview of the evolution of the computer to where we are today, because now that big cupboard-sized computer with the vinyl records on it are now down to the SanDisk card. This is what we used to call ourselves the chip. You know, oh, now they're gonna put a chip in my head, you know? And some people do have a chip in their head. But this is a computer, this is a device. It can hold about, let's see what it says. It can hold about, 2 gigs of memory on it, or 2 gigs of data. 2 gigs, right? And that, to me...
So if you was weighing it for photographs, how many photographs could you put on that?
You can put a lot of photographs in 2 gigs.
Yeah.
But the point is, you want 10 gigs. Yeah. You want a terabyte. You know, which is what this is.
Okay.
Right? This is what is a portable terabyte, which terabyte is 1,000 gigs. And that means I can have a whole massive library of movies, which I do. No cups. I can have a series of box sets, which I do. I can have loads of documents till I'm blue in the face, and a multitude of photographs. So that's why you should spend 40 to 60 pounds in Asda.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything is going that small, and everything's become miniaturized, kind of like Fantastic Voyage, if you remember that one. Come on, help me out, dude. You're from the 60s. Fantastic Voyage. Yeah, it's about 4 scientists who shrink themselves down miniature.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you, Monger Man. Some people watch TV, some people didn't. But that's where we're going. That's where we are. Right? So, Living Digital is supposed to be around that. It's about that demystification, understanding and navigating what we call the web. Right? So, oh wow. Before I go into how to be a YouTuber, which is kind of like our main aim, what I want to first talk about is social media. Social media, right? I do. Did that fall? Thank you. What I want to talk about is social media and pretty much helping people out with what it is and how to work it, right? Now, who knows our main social media contacts? Meaning like, I'll start you off with Facebook, right? Everybody knows Facebook, right? Twitter, which is
Instagram.
What?
Instagram.
Instagram, I don't know how to do that, and I don't.
No, you shouldn't really. Instagram. Yeah, what else?
WhatsApp.
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 Oh, I like WhatsApp.
FaceTime.
Yeah. FaceTime. Right?
And then you've got these other company ones as well.
So the company one is called
What's the company one called?
LinkedIn. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. LinkedIn. No, that's right. So what it is you're starting to hear that. What do you think about that, Mary? You go, what? These are all different ways that people communicate with one another, right? So what it is, when we say how do you navigate it, you know, good thing would be is to know what uses they are. So Facebook is a fantastic opportunity to stay in touch with family and friends.
Yeah.
Personal site, has all your personal information right on your page. Yeah. And it's all about you, what you did that day, what you ate. That's the thing that people hate. But mainly it's a communication tool, and the benefits of that is like staying in touch with family members that you don't call anymore. Who uses a phone anymore?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
You got a phone in your house?
Oh, you mean, right, okay, house phone. No, I don't.
Because you carry your phone around. So
Yeah.
Easy access, isn't it? But nobody's using what we used to use, right?
Yeah.
The whole cord phone and everything
Yeah.
else like that. So what was the thing that we had to do in the day was we had to actually leave our house and meet up with friends.
I mean, I know that they're getting rid of like yellow pages now because they think,
What's the point of a yellow
what's
page?
the point of it? Because
Yeah.
you can search on
Yeah.
them.
I bet you ask a kid today what a yellow page is, they go, what? If I want to find anything, I go to Google. Right? How did you used to find information?
Go to the
Library.
library.
Go to the library.
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
What's the point? I used to have a whole row of encyclopedias.
Yeah, me
There'd
too.
be the guy who used to come door to door selling you a stack of encyclopedias
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's like, if I need information, I put this on and I'm studying. Now it's Google. Every answer I need to know and everything, do Google.
And it's so much easier because, for example, when you're looking through a encyclopedia, there's pages and pages, whereas all you need to do is ask a question to Google.
Well,
and it breaks it all
no,
down.
Siri, really.
Yeah?
You don't ask Google any questions. They haven't done that yet. That's more like Siri or something like that. Siri, where am I? How do I find something? Where Google talks back to you.
No, don't mean that. I mean, you type it in. Sorry. Type it in, the question, and it will give you a breakdown of where you might be able to find it.
I get what you mean. You mean reducing the information overload. But,
Yeah.
But there's a certain. That's another trick because you've got to use certain keywords in order to get what you want.
Yeah.
And you've got to know how to. Do
Exactly, and I'm going to talk about keywords and tagging in a minute and stuff like that because that might be a word that goes over people's heads. Anybody know what keywords are? Are you married? See? You know what I mean? I'm not going slow, I just want to go soft.
Yeah.
All right, but bring that back up again there, Jamie. So Google has replaced the encyclopedias. But with the family and friends, that's when people on the phone. I already stopped calling my nan to find out how she's doing, right? And everything like that. If I need to know how he's doing, I'll just look on Facebook. I used to be really, me and my ex-partner used to be really big on Facebook to the point where, have all our like family holiday pictures on and everything. And because I had 1,000 friends who I didn't know. Right?
You had a what? You had a what?
I had 1,000 friends that I didn't know.
How?
How?
It was
just
a
subscribe to my Facebook.
So, for example-
my Facebook is public, right? And and yeah. Well, go ahead.
So for example, I have all my members of my family.
Mm-hmm.
Now they might have a friend that might have come to a family do, and then they see that I am so say James. I went to a family do, and James introduced me to Jack, and Jack went, and we had a really good conversation. So we go into James's Facebook, sees my name, and then he asks me, "Can I be your friend?"
Mm-hmm.
So then I say yes or
Because
no.
you're a friend of a friend.
So what happens is you can say yes or no.
Yeah.
But when Facebook first came up, you used to go yes.
Because it helps it helps people's mindset that I have all these friends. You really don't, right? You have all these voyeurs, all these watchers of your life. And if you're one of those people like we were, I still somewhat am, I kind of reduced that a little bit. But we tell everybody everything.
That's why the advert's so misleading when it says friends. You got friends. It's not. They're not.
No, they're not.
Yeah, it's like those old phone man friends.
Yeah.
Do you want the family friends plan for him? But yeah, I mean the point about it is So Facebook starts to feel a little bit unsafe, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it started out, all I wanted was all of those friends,
Yeah.
right? But they actually aren't people I know, and they are only voyeurs on my page. But that becomes a choice that I have, right? Like I've chosen to show everything. But my point I was trying to make was, so I'm on holiday, and in Turkey, and pictures were taken of me like jumping into like the river, or being in a mud bath. And that's kind of like, I'm like pretty like naked in a mud bath. But it's like, it's fun, then what happened was I come back home and people I don't even know in the physical world, in the real world, go, hey, how you doing? Hey, I love those pictures in Turkey. Wait a minute, you know what I mean? It started to make me realize, wait a minute, this is very public. So it's like, and people like that. They like to feel like they know someone. I don't have to have a conversation with you. We sat down in a restaurant because I know everything about you. Do this. It's a massive juggernaut.
Yeah, but the difficult thing is when it comes into like cyberbullying and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
no, definitely.
And there was an incident where this lovely model got thrown acid in her face because of the jealousy of what you posted. It's your whole life on show on the internet, and I think.
Exactly. And then, so the last thing I'll say about that is, because the government's cracking down on us, but, what Facebook causes, the problem that Facebook causes, beyond everything else, is a term that they've now called Sharrington. Can you guess what you think Sharrington is?
Well, share.
Share. Yeah. So, you know how kids take selfies?
Mm-hmm.
You know how we as parents probably warn kids like, don't do this, don't do that, and everything like that. I teach media, as you see, hopefully. And I want to, teach people how to be on YouTube. So the first thing parents usually say, like when you talk to the teachers, and the teachers go, the parents are really kind of upset about their children being on YouTube. And I said, really? Why? YouTube's scary, all right? Really? Why? And it's like they don't want their images out there for everybody to see. Really? Why? Aren't they on Facebook? So, here's parents who would say, no, you can't put my kid on YouTube, are responsible for sharing their kids on Facebook.
Yeah.
How do you think parents share their kids on Facebook? Anybody? Anybody see kids' pictures on Facebook?
Yeah.
No, but what generally is that picture?
What they're doing in the day, on the holiday, no?
Parents' pride of students' first day.
Uh-huh.
First day of school, right? Most, especially those who are involved in Sheraton, most take the picture of their kids in the corner. Stop taking pictures of me, right? In their school uniform. Pride. Where does it go? Facebook. Did they ask their kids? No. They just do it. World Book Day. Oh, look, I had to go out and spend this money on this costume, for this kid to look like Roald Dahl, right? Of course, I'm going to put it on
Facebook.
Halloween. Oh man, this kid forced me to dress him up as Black Panther. But that cost me money too. Where's it going?
Yeah.
Is it all about competition with other mothers or something?
That too is a part of it. Because what you will see is not just one parent, but multiple parents now starting to compete with one another.
Yeah.
Oh, but my kid looks like this. My kid looks like that. My kid looks like that. And guess what you're doing? Is sharing your kids' photos on Facebook into the universe where there are 1,000 friends you don't even know.
Yeah.
Boom! Mind blown. So, when I want to actually do an educational film on cyberbullying or online awareness for your children in the school in a safe environment, no, I don't think so. Okay. Why are you doing that then? Why are you doing that then? So that's why this actual program has started, because the teachers go, oh, didn't think about it that way, and stuff, and everything. So I love Facebook. You know, this is not anti-Facebook, but it's for your understanding of the use of that Facebook. I will go into LinkedIn, but this is not like a small business course, but for a small business course, we usually talk about LinkedIn, which is only used for business. You will never see personal pictures on LinkedIn. You only see testimonials, promotions, this is who I am, right? Selling my business, you know, I'm looking for this. I'm hoping that there's an opportunity for that. That's what LinkedIn is used for.
So what's
Business.
So what's like Gumtree then? Because that is for.
Oh, okay,
finding-
now you're going too far,
Okay.
baby.
Okay.
No, reason why is because there's always going to be competition. There's always going to be something new.
Gumtree, I thought that's what you sold things on.
It
No,
is.
but it's also to find plumbers and stuff like that on Gumtree.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and
Like a search engine.
like a search engine, you know, people advertise there, you know, like builders, if you want to build it, you find.
Oh, right.
Kind of like a
Yeah.
bargain bay.
It's like a directory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the bargain bay and all that. So so that's like for business. But here's the interesting thing: Instagram. How many got an Instagram account?
I haven't. No.
What did you hear about Instagram that you figure it's not for me?
I don't really know anything about it other than that you put photographs on, and I'm not interested in
That's
putting.
how it began.
Oh, right, okay.
What is it? I don't know what it is.
Instagram, kind of like a instant message. Instagram was a photo search engine site where people would just put like their photos. You just put like their holiday pics. You know, I'm going like rambling. You know, everything, right? And
So how
it's
is it
just like-
different from Facebook? Sorry,
What?
sorry to ask a basic question.
Okay.
But how is it different from Facebook?
It's different from Facebook because of where it has moved now, right? So Instagram wasn't usually like in the top 3 before, but like in that aspect is that, you know, it's just sharing photos. It's still, people still subscribe to you like Facebook does. It wouldn't really be more focused for family and friends. It would be really more focused for friends and people of common interests. So usually, like if you put on a place like Mount Everest or Dubai or whatever, anybody who's interested in Dubai probably will have found your picture in the Instagram universe and then say, "Oh, I like your pictures," you know. So I'll follow you because maybe you'll go somewhere else that I like.
And you would have to put a label on the picture for them to find that picture, would you? How would they know you were at Mount Everest if I posted my picture?
Because there's something called like geotagging,
Right.
location, but mainly it's.
Oh,
like
so you would
describe-
type in Mount Everest, and then
Yeah.
the people that have put anything about Mount Everest would put up.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to explain more of that about when I talk about keyword and tagging. But the main thing about it is like you don't just put like up a random picture. You would like put up a picture and you would describe that picture, and the words in that description usually becomes a common thing, and it becomes like a keyword, and then it leads into a trend. But I'll get to that in a second. My point is, Instagram, in the competition of Twitter and Facebook, has raised their algorithms where they can now do 1-minute videos. Yeah, so it used to be just photos. Now they do 1-minute videos. People don't talk on there, but then you could like do a little comment and stuff. But basically, because this has now become your father's Oldsmobile. Anybody remember that commercial?
No.
Remember that commercial? The Oldsmobile, right? Used to advertise itself as your father's Oldsmobile. It's like this big beast of a car, muscle car sometimes, but then it was like, that's what your dad drove.
Okay.
Facebook is now what your dad drives.
Yeah,
Your
okay.
mom drives.
I get that.
So the kids have all run to Instagram. So this is now become more of a children's site. So even though, you say, hey, I wonder where my kid is, And the kids, they call them spam accounts, right? Yeah, I got a Facebook. My mom knows my Facebook. But then I have a, spam account where my mom doesn't know, because then I put pictures on my Instagram, right? So, it becomes like where the kids go because, right? And, how to navigate this, that they said, you know what, I'm going to avoid Instagram just like most of you have done. Right, that was the point. Most of you avoid this because it's just a rich side of it.
Yeah.
And this is where the kids are. This is where they hang out. In the Instagram world and stuff. And they hang out in the Snapchat world. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But mainly Instagram is their whole new base of operation.
What's Snapchat?
Well, Snapchat is a double-edged sword, because Snapchat is kind of like, hey, take a quick picture, I can talk, I could, like, funny emojis on my face, you ever see people put it like that? Yeah, it's like, became like this filter program that people, hey, I want to be a lion, I want to be a zombie, so I had a program where you could do that to yourself. But it also became a place where, hey, as an adult, and I'm looking for some fun. What's happening? It became a personalized adult channel, which is kind of like scary. Where, wait a minute, kids are on this, right? What do you think they're thinking about? Same thing that those adults are thinking about. So I myself, kind of like,
Excuse me, you're just going to get a laptop to me, 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay. So I myself do not, bother with Snapchat in that zone or anything like that, but that is what it is. It's the same thing, hey, cute little fun site, full of emojis and activity and stuff like that, but that's what it is. So then the last one, like of the main, is Twitter, right? On Twitter.
I set it up and I didn't like it. I couldn't.
Why you didn't like it?
I couldn't work it out. And apparently you've got to only have 72 words or 72
Characters.
digits or whatever it was.
Characters.
Yeah.
It's a limited amount of conversation that you can actually have on it.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people do is that they put a lot of links on there, right? So hyperlinks. So that means like, hey, I just heard the story and everything, because it's the main thing is it's a sharing site with celebrities. Yeah?
Yeah.
So for celebrities, like, we're talking about the Americans mostly, but the celebrities, what they do is they can safely create a Twitter site to communicate with their fans. And usually they have like an assistant or a PA that is operating their Twitter. And then sometimes there'll be people saying, well, no, this is actually, like Robbie Williams I'm actually talking to. When Robbie Williams likes my thing, it's actually Robbie Williams liking it. And it's possible because celebrities are just as bored as you are. You know what I mean? When they're sitting on a set like 12 to 18 hours a day, you see them on their phones. When I used to work in music videos, it's like they're on their phones all the time. What are they actually on? Things like Twitter.
Twitter is mainly to follow celebrities, isn't it?
Exactly.
Main
It's,
thing.
exactly. That's why you would be on it. You would transfer, links like YouTube links, kind of like what we would do. You would transfer like, your podcast and all that kind of stuff. You would transfer like when people like Donald Trump, I never like to go political. Every time he said something stupid, you see like that link in the Twitter and stuff like that because he's on Twitter all the time. So but basically, yeah, that's what it's there for, right? And stuff, So,
But VoiceBox, sorry.
No, go ahead.
VoiceBox has a Twitter thing,
Yeah.
so I'm quite confused with it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I'll break it down for you in the question stuff and everything like that. But basically, Twitter has a form of legitimacy to it, right? Like it is good to be on Twitter because like everyone in the world is on Twitter. Not everyone in the world is on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, but everyone in the world is on Twitter. And if you want to play in the sandbox with the big boys, you want to be on Twitter too. And you want to have just as many followers on your Twitter. You want people retweeting you and all that. And this is where I finally get to hashtagging trend
So,
keywords.
so is this mainly the reason why, like, the big chairmen of NHS companies would create a Twitter account?
Exactly.
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah.
So like when you use like NHS, like I was at a big conference for the LEP, Liverpool Educational Partnership. They had a digital features conference last year, and what people do is like I want people to know that this is going on. VoiceBox does this a lot, where they go to the different recovery events and everything like that. I want people to know I was there, and I want people to know what's going on. So I will be on Twitter, and I will make a comment on Twitter, hoping that it gets trended, right? So who knows what a hashtag is?
I haven't got a clue.
It's a little symbol, isn't it?
Yes, a hashtag is a symbol. It's on your phone, but what do you use it for?
I haven't got a clue.
Is it to sort of attach a link?
Attach a link?
Or send a link.
Attach your tweet.
Or create a link? Right? So, let's see another
What, you
example.
mean create a link from your own Twitter account? So you've been to the Liverpool Education, you want to highlight that, and it creates the link so that you can make a comment and then say, this was a great conference, check this out.
Oh, right, okay.
So, that is exactly right, Mark. So, hashtag VBOS alcohol awareness. Yeah? So, keyword is alcohol awareness, right?
Okay.
So, keywords are going to be used in various different ways. Not just on Twitter or in setting up links, but it's used to, bring people into what you're trying to talk about. And I'm going to break it down further when I talk about keyword and stuff, so remind me. But hashtagging is so that way you create a link for people to find, right? I'm at an alcohol awareness project, but I'm VoiceBox. So I will say hashtag VoiceBox alcohol awareness, right? Now what will happen is that every Joe Blogs that's at that place will probably also do the same. The place itself, right, the Alcohol Awareness UK Fund, whatever, they will hashtag. So what do? I put their hashtag on that hashtag. Do you understand? So it'll be a series of hashtags in my message, right? So that way I can go to their trend. So this is the thing. These hashtags leads to a trend, which means that other people join a conversation. So if you're at a party, right? I'm at a party, I just showed up. You guys are having fun talking to each other, right? And then let's say I join you,
Yeah.
right? And everything, and then I'm listening to what James got to say, what Mark's got to say, then I go, at this event, Mark said this, right?
Okay.
But what happens is I have to learn how to trim that down. So I don't have to say at this event because I've already said hashtag alcohol awareness.
Okay.
So then I just say hashtag Mark said, boom, great event. Now what does Mark do? Because I've hashtag Mark, it goes to Mark.
Right.
He said, oh, that's nice of you, Chase, to mention me. Well, I'll pay it forward. So I'll go, hashtag Chase, yeah, it was really good meeting you, right? So now I got Mark trending with me. I'm trending with Mark, and our friends are trending with both of us.
Okay.
To the point where the goal, especially of the big event, is to become #1 trending. So what they call trending #1. So when I was at that event, right, for the digital features, they had like a screen up where we could see the live chat room of the Twitter. And then when it becomes at the top of the trend for digital features, then they would go, oh, we hit number one.
Okay.
Because that's the goal. If we're number one, that means so many other people, one, have trended us, right, by hashtagging us, right, and everything. And in that fashion is that trending is when somebody else says something about what you say. So, how do I simplify that? Is that I said this was a great event. Nobody cares. Nobody's like retweeting it. Nobody's like, saying anything about me. Come on, man, I just said you had a great
So
event.
I might go, I thought it was shit. And then somebody goes, why did you do that? And then somebody else goes, why did you think that? And I went, because of.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, negative comments don't actually, one, get played, or two, get commented on. Sometimes they do, and everything, if everybody do agree with you.
Well, like with Donald Trump, lots of people, I'm sure, I'm
but they
not
don't do
saying
it on. They don't do it on Trump. You won't see it on Trump's trend.
Ah,
They would create their own trend to do that.
okay.
Yeah, what you just said. If I said no, it was shit, then I don't want your negative comment on my trend, because nobody's gonna follow my trend because hey, who's that
okay.
negative person you got on your trend, man? Who's that all about?
Okay.
you get me?
What happens if someone does put a negative comment on your trend? Is there any way you can delete it? Or
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, can't delete it.
Yeah.
And stuff. So anyway, so the goal would be is if you are trying to promote voice box,
Yeah.
the goal would be is to trend and to trend high.
Okay.
That means it's about what you say, how you say it, how many people actually retweet it.
Right.
And that's trending. So I know these are complicated words, but you've heard them all before, and I'm trying to break it into
I have heard
simplified.
them.
I'm trying to break it into a simplified,
Yeah.
context for you to understand. The goal is to retweet, right? That's the goal, right? Because once you retweet, then one, you build followers. Then you have to be consistent enough to keep them to you. So you have to keep saying really good, positive things, worthwhile things, interesting things. You know what I mean? I'm going to go over to this guy's Twitter because he's always got, an image or an article or that's my man, right? So then that leads into the last one, the keywords, is that, and me and Karen faced this when we went to the digital garage, is that keyword is the most important thing because it's how do you simplify. So remember Kieran, when we were saying stuff and the guy kept saying, well, how can you say that smaller? So this is where I come back to you, Margaret Mary. Last time we had a class, you brought up how to save the whales. Your kids won't see a whale, right? Remember you said that?
Yeah.
So how did you say it? Your kids won't see a whale?
I said that your children's children will never ever see a whale.
Right.
If we don't sort out our plastic bag problem.
Now, very important, very long. Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I believe in what she's saying, but how do I trend it?
Yeah.
So no, but this is what I'm trying to say is what keywords.
Yeah.
So how do I trend it? So then so what she's trying to say is look, you need to use plastic bags, right? Or was it you need to use paper bags?
Paper bags.
Yeah, you need to use paper bags. Yeah. So her reasoning for why you need to use paper bags is because your grandchildren will never see a whale. And in that aspect is so it's so somebody help her out. What would be the keyword that she could put into Twitter to get it trending?
Whales in danger.
Whales in danger.
Save whales.
Save whales. So that's your opinion. That's what you want.
No, it's not. It's not enough. That. I get what you mean. So.
No. Yeah. So we're treating it as an exercise. Jamie, what could you say? Because keywords could be long. That's the great thing. It could be long, but it can't be too long.
Yeah.
Right? So they have to have punch to it. Because what you would do is once people come to the trend that you want them to come to, then you can actually space it out. You know, use paper over plastics. You know what I mean? Or, you know, your grandchildren will never see a whale. All that kind of stuff. But you got to get them there first.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In endangered whales. Or something.
Endangered whales.
Something that would.
So again, it's a statement.
Vast. Then.
Yeah. So again, it's a statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
My marriage, yours. How can you?
Whales are dying.
That's deep. So I would say that's more of like a hashtag.
Starving whales.
Whales are dying. Now it has to be as if it's one word, right?
Okay.
So that's a hashtag.
Okay.
That's something that could probably get people to do it. So I'm not gonna say that's wrong. That's cool. I would also say is, how can you save planet
Yeah.
or save whales? How can you save whales? How can you save planet? Right? Now, Mark, would that interest you? Or you're not a revolutionary? You just saw it. It comes into your Twitter.
Yeah.
How can you save whales? How can you save planet? I mean, would you go on that hashtag?
No, I am a revolutionary, but I would be looking for other ways to create a revolution, which would include whales. But
Okay.
I'm not, no, because I'm very suspicious of any of these things. Like, I seem to be bombarded at the moment with all these
Fair enough.
change.org. You know, I
Mhm.
get petitions every week, and I just delete them. You know.
Mhm. But Mary, are you talking about a petition?
No, I just
You're talking
want to
about
make an awareness.
Exactly. You're
Because-
talking about awareness and you're talking about an action.
Yeah.
But Mark is afraid that you're talking about selling him something.
Okay.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
Right? No,
But
that's fair.
it's not even that. It's fatigue. It's fatigue.
No, I get you, and that's fair. What I'm trying to say is that
I get.
it's a fair statement, and it's a fair
I mean,
feeling.
I love Wales, right?
Yeah.
But for me personally,
Mhm.
that would not be the way, that I think I can engage with that topic.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Fair.
So,
What were you gonna say, Jamie?
Yeah, it sounds more like a British Red Cross charity advert or something, and
Yeah.
most of the stuff or Oxfam,
yeah.
those
Mhm.
adverts that you say are boring.
This is our
It's-
audience.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? You guys make up a cross section of the audience in that aspect. So we're gonna be upset that the trend is not reaching you.
All right. So we've got to do something.
But what I was going to say about trends is the idea is that the fact that you have to say something that kind of like sparks into people.
Yeah.
In the trend, because the trend is a list. In the trend will be about using paper with glasses, will be about saving whales, why you want to save whales. I want my kid to see, thing. But then also too is some other people, like you are angry about, some other people might come on there and change.org or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but I mean, this to me is the whole problem, right, with all this stuff. And I've never used anything.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about mobile phones. But you see, we're all very, let's say, like you say, we're revolutionaries. We're saving
Mhm.
whales or whatever. And then presumably, you'll get Beyonce comes and puts a tweet out, and then the whole world is not looking at whales. Hey, look, Beyonce.
Look at Beyonce likes whales.
Beyonce. So, to me, this is the whole problem with like learning. We've already. I'm not going to put words in the mouth, but to me, we've already dissed encyclopedias today. We've already
Dissed it.
we put it to one side,
Yeah.
and similarly, basically, it seems to me, and I don't want to put words in Chase's mouth, but
No, please.
but the thing is, unless you can go to the trend, top of the pops, you ain't going to get anybody listening to what you want to say. And I think increasingly the media is then being directed by all this stuff. So that's just a critique of it.
Yeah.
I'm totally into what you're saying about
Yeah.
how you have to do it to make it interesting, but like you say, cross section of the audience is still not going to interest me because
Yeah.
I have a deep suspicion of who's behind this. What's their motivation?
Yeah.
It could be Donald Trump saying save whales just so that I actually think Donald Trump's a great guy.
Yeah. But see, the thing about it is, what's great about what you're saying is that like all of that comes from you, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't come from me,
Right.
right? This is not even my trend; it's her trend.
Okay.
But as you heard from Margaret Mary, is her trend is she's actually her belief is actually different than what you have just espoused.
Sure.
But you have a right to that suspicion, and that's what I'm just trying to say. She has the right to be aware that people are going to misinterpret what your intention is.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Right? And all I'm talking about is avenues. These are doors,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, Mark, these are the doors of today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the whole point of the evolution talk.
Yeah.
These are the doors of today. You can't be so against it that you ignore it completely, right? Because this is what teachers have done, right? When it comes to, you know, the internet and social media. They rather follow the fear of the dark web and figure, ignore it, children, right? Because your parents don't want you on it. We don't want to be responsible for like educating you about it. But what happens is then those kids end up educating each other about it.
Yeah.
You know, they end up going, hey, look at this. You know, porn free. Look at what I got over here.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know who they're talking to. We don't know what they're doing. I actually was educated in the past week when I had did this course with 2 sets of young people. It ranged between 11 and 14, ethnic diversity, you know, Catholic school girls, all that kind of stuff. But they each told me about a particular app that I had no clue of, called House Party. When you hear House Party, what do you think?
Somebody's playing house, they're going in somebody's
House.
music and they just...
You're going to a friend's house, right?
Yeah.
Now, in today's age, kids barely go anywhere outside of their
that's
gate.
true.
They go to school, right? They hang out away from their parents, so they do find places to hang out and gather and everything. But they also, we're in Britain, so they also watch American movies. So they know what a house party is,
Yeah.
right? It's a gathering of young people. But what they did, so there's now an app that looked out for that and created a house party app where they can have multiple FaceTime at once. So guess what? Come to this house party, right? They go into a room with various other people. They say, I'm only going with my friends, but you're also going with friends of friends.
Yeah.
And it's FaceTime, so it's like I see who's in there, but then you get stranger warnings on it.
So it's like a group chat.
It's a group chat,
Yeah.
a group
Alright,
face
okay.
chat. But the point is, it's like it could go from 20 to many more. So not everybody has to be truthful about who they are.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to actually show their face. So it's so much potential for things to go left in there.
Yeah.
Now they say, oh, I'm protected, I'm with my friends and all that, and that is true, they take care of one another. I'm just trying to say is this is what's out there, this is what our children are on. So it is good to have curiosity, but also to be, you know, conflicted by these things.
Yeah.
But this whole course is about education.
Yeah.
It's about awareness.
Yeah.
So I don't want to stop you from like being conflicted by things, but I'm only just stating what is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this trend, I'm only just using it as an example.
An example.
Sure.
This particular one is only an example of how, because Mary didn't know how to actually do this in the first place.
Yeah.
So what she could actually do is she could actually go on Voice Bus and do these kind of hashtags to see, or to educate people from her perspective about whales and about paperbacks. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, I mean, I know I've been talking at you, but I mean, what do you guys think, you know, like about this? I mean, like, as far as your awareness around it, Mark, I mean, is it helpful at least to know that this kind of stuff exists out there in the universe, is free access to everyone for now? They're talking about monetizing it all. But, what do you think?
I really like the idea of that because I don't know if Amanda told you, but we went to sorry, I can't remember where it was. We went somewhere in Manchester and they was very green, eco-friendly. They had massive big bins, 4 or 5 of them for the bins, and then right in the corner they had plastic bags, great big fucking plastic bags for umbrellas to
Yeah.
stop the water touching the floor.
Yeah.
And I went, that's a contradiction. I said to this place called Friendly.
Yeah.
And then you're putting these fucking, are they recyclable? Are they,
Recyclable.
no, perishable. No, nobody uses them. Well, then, well, what are they doing there?
Well, because it's easier for us to put all the umbrellas into the bag and then to tie it up.
So my
and then
point
carry
was, so this lady who was in her 30s, and when I said, don't you know that last year 5 whales were found with bellies full of plastic bags?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what happened? A load of children came in, and I'm still having this conversation about the fact that we need to be more aware about plastic bags. It's already there, so we can't fix that at the minute. I'm sure they might be able, because there are people that are picking it up. But today we need to change our way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm having this conversation, and all these children came in, and one of a couple of the teachers came in, and then a teacher caught my eye, and I went, I'm just sharing about the fact, and then I said it a little bit louder, all these children, and I went, your children's children will never see a whale.
And they said, security.
No. Do you know what? Out of that classroom of children, when I went to the other side of the room, 2 kids went, save the whales, right? And then further up, when I was going to the toilets, another kid went, save the whales. So to me, I just got 3 kids that actually heard it, and they will have a conversation with it and go, this fucking nutter was at this place and she was talking about save the whales. So for me,
you made an impact.
I want to do that. Because that woman at 30 didn't even have a clue.
Yeah.
So it's the children we need to reach.
No, you're so right. Which is why this is why I'm loving how this program is going, because this is exactly what the kids say, like in their classes. Because like in the class that I had, they're like, yeah, well, we get internet safety stuff, but really a teacher just talks down at us about it.
Yeah.
They just try to warn us about this, that, but they really don't say anything. They really don't ask us our opinion. They really don't, you know what I mean? So it is a way of education needs to change, and that's where this media comes in, Mark. It's like you have to actually reach people in a medium that they can understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame that the Britannica encyclopedias are gone. But the point is that you have to still continue the education, and you can't avoid the way that we're trying to educate.
No, but we do, I would argue. I think we do avoid people, we exclude people, because there's a whole generation,
there is.
like you've pinpointed my age already.
Yeah.
I've never been educated in this way, and
Oh, no.
frankly, there aren't opportunities to really be educated, and I hear what you're saying, and I was talking to Kieran earlier and to Margaret Mary about this, because I wonder when the day's going to come when we do actually reject this. I mean, I just jiggled a few.
Rejected, you said?
Rejected, yeah. Definitely.
You want to reject this?
Yeah, definitely. In the sense of, when you get to the point where the coins in your pocket are no longer of any use, you cannot exchange money with me without the state knows about it, without government knows about it, without the corporation knows about it. I was just giving an example about a homeless guy that I met in town recently, and I said to him, are you not getting some help? He said, I don't want to register. I said, come on, man, you're homeless, you're out on the streets, you've got to register? Yeah, you've got to register, you've got to be corporatised, they've got to have you tagged, they have to know about you. And everything in this way. No, I totally hear what you're saying. I mean, my own brother, who's 53, he's telling me, man, you're missing out. You've got to be on Facebook. You've got to be on Facebook. It's all happening there. So even for me, in my social circle of people who swim and ride bikes and run, I am excluded because I've got £5 phone.
Oh my God!
Which I've only had for six years. You know what I mean? So
he's got a burner.
But I hear what you're saying. But I think, unfortunately, I'm not the conflicted one. I would argue that there's a lot of conflict right from the start because what we do is we let the genie out of the bottle and then we all go, oh my God, and we create this false dialogue and debate about the horrors of the internet, and that is generated by the companies that are letting these things out, and yet they're pretending to be the gatekeepers and the guardians of safety and children. And at the same time, we've got all this stuff going on with safeguarding, paedophilia, and whatever. So no, I'm not rejecting it in the sense of the use of the applications, but you cannot ignore, not you, but I think society is ignoring the fact that it really excludes a hell of a lot of people. And of course, you know, I'm 56.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, I might live till, let's say, what, 80? So take my generation, as an industry, they don't care about me because they know in 25 years I'm probably going to be dead. But in 25 years, kids being born today, they will have only known, like, I grew up in a house which had an outside toilet.
Yeah,
Now, people would laugh when I tell them that.
I did.
Right? My father never had a car. We never had a TV. I still don't have a TV. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
People are just going to be more and more, and like you've already said, it won't be long before the chip, or whatever that thing is called, is stitched into the side of your head, because you're going to have to be online for the needs of your corporatized employer, so that they want to know that you're doing this, you're doing that, and when you're doing it.
Yeah,
They've already
everyone
got
will
the
be
glasses,
geotagged.
the glasses where you're going to be looking at a screen. Screen time, I think I look at too much screen time, and that's me.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, I've had my say. Sorry.
No.
Don't say
Let me.
Don't wait a minute, Chase, go on.
What's your name?
Mark.
Mark. I agree with Mark in a way.
And Jamie's younger.
There used to be a time when I liked MSN Messenger because it was one-to-one chat.
Yeah.
I like WhatsApp because it's one-to-one. But I'm 100% disagree with this Facebook thing. First of all, I don't like Mark Zuckerberg anyway. The fact that he fraudulently copied someone else's code and broke the intellectual property rights. I think it's too much.
I saw the social network.
Too much. Your life's on hold and all that. It causes too much cyberbullying. It causes too much depression, and I think it needs to be whittled down a bit.
I think it's just a job, all of it, me personally.
Oh, what? Sorry.
It's a what?
Job. It's like a job.
It is a job.
You know, you start on Facebook 6 months down the line, you're spending 4 hours on it a night.
Yeah.
Because you've got that many friends and things to do on it.
People are addicted to it. They don't turn their phones off. There's blue light in their room and everything, and you know they need to know. They need that ease of access. That's what it is that you know people have this saturation, this need to know, you know, what's going on with someone else. Where we come from a generation where you got to go to school. There is no devices. You had to wait till after school to talk to your friends. You go to your friends' houses down the street. You know, you don't need to know what Bob is eating for lunch. You don't need to know what Jane is doing right now. You know, you can wait. But now we have this crunch time where there's ease of access. So I totally get everything everyone's saying.
Then sometimes like certain groups or something said, oh yeah, but you can add me on Facebook. And then all of a sudden said, well, I don't have Facebook. And then they sort of look at you as if, well, you're not with it, you know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous.
The thing is as well, as soon as you get started on one of them, another one comes out.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, you know, Facebook has lasted because before Facebook, who remembers what was it? MySpace. You know, MySpace was before Facebook.
I don't even remember that.
Oh man, I used to love my MySpace, but then I even tried to get back on my MySpace, but I forgot my password. You know, I mean, I was amazed to find that it still exists. My site is still there, but I can't get into my own thing. But yeah, I mean, like the thing about it is, let me just end this on a thing where I totally get what you're saying, Mark, and what everyone is saying. But there is always a but. But you know, you can't choose to not know what is going on. You can choose to not have a Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? That's your right.
Yeah.
You know, you can be laughed at by your family and friends for not having that, you know, by your mates in the biking group and all of that. But the point is that, you know, to at least have one, to at least understand what is going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to be absorbed by it.
That's true.
But it's not going away, unfortunately. The only thing that is going to hinder Facebook in the coming months or so is this net neutrality about the fact that Zuckerberg now wants to control Facebook and he wants to monetize it. So now they want to charge people 10 to 20 pounds a month for access to Facebook, to YouTube, to Twitter, all of that. And, so that is being stalled in Congress at the moment. But the point is, I see it coming. Just like we have all of these different streaming services that is killing cable. You know what I mean? I'm not a political person, but unfortunately, change is coming.
What do you mean killing cable? What's cable?
Cable is like all of those Sky and multiple channels that we have on Sky.
But we have to pay for those anyway.
Yeah, but they're going away because.
So what? So what?
So what?
So it's just progress, isn't it?
It is progress. I'm just trying to say it's bad for cable. But I mean, like the thing about
for us as consumers, you can't have it both ways. If this is progress and how it's going, it's freedom, isn't it?
You're right.
So what do you mean it's
you're coming from a world of 4 channels. I'm coming from America, multiple channels. But yeah.
So what do you mean it's going away? So more people will start getting like Amazon Fire Sticks and watching films through the internet?
I did. Yeah, I brought my Roku Fire Stick from Asda. One price, and then I get several different channels and everything like that. So you got Chromecast, you got Amazon Fire Stick, and you got all these Fire Sticks. You know what they are, right?
You
stick it in your
connect
TV.
it in through the internet.
Yeah. But so what's happening is now we have the rise of the online streaming services. So you got
this things like Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Netflix was the start, but now you're getting all the others. So now you're getting Hulu. You're getting the fact that the Amazon.
Amazon
Video.
Trying to take over TV. So Chase, sorry to stop you. It's fascinatingly interesting what is presented to us. It's great. But why I don't see you seem now a little bit conflicted about that when you're talking about cable, because to me, surely this is slightly feeding into what Kieran said, you get one thing, then another thing comes.
Let me explain my confliction.
Surely it's plays into my critique that, again, part of it is they almost like a piece of rope. They only let out a little piece of rope at a time to make more money.
Okay, but let me explain what the problem is.
Yeah.
So people fear what is called the monopoly, right?
Sorry, I just use one of them sockets though. I'll be
Yeah.
1 second.
People fear monopoly. Like if you're probably not aware, but Disney has bought Fox.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, everybody knows that story and everything like that. What people are upset about in the media is the fact that this starts to reduce the competition of the films that we're getting, right? Because it comes down to one company instead of multiple companies. Now, but in reverse on television, what's happening is cable was a series of multiple companies, right? Where we pay one price for Sky, don't we?
Yeah.
So that's cable, right?
Yeah.
We pay one price.
Yeah.
The problem with online streaming services is that now you're going to have to pay multiple prices. So because
I mean multiple prices.
okay, let me explain. Because Hulu is a streaming service.
Right.
If you're a fan of Star Trek, so Star Trek Discovery is on CBS Access, that's a streaming service.
Right.
Disney is now creating their own streaming service because they bought Fox. DC, which is the superhero company that has Superman, they are having a streaming service. Yeah? So Marvel doesn't have to have a streaming service because Disney is their streaming service. My point is, if I'm a fan and I'm a geek, I was paying one price for Sky. Now you're asking me to pay 4 prices to 4 different people for streaming services.
Right.
Because you're telling me I need to be on that streaming service just to get this particular episode of something.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say it. I download, right?
Yeah.
I ignore all streaming services. Because we're talking about, my problem with Netflix, right? Why do I have it? Because it has all a multitude of movies, but they go, hey man, pay only £7 a month. And then I'm thinking, all right, that seems fair for all the movies I'm going to get, £7 a month. But then every month I'm losing £7 out of my account without realizing it because I forgot that I'm paying £7 a month. So if I sign up for this streaming service, that streaming service, that streaming service, guess what? They're not saying £7, they're saying £10 to £14.
Yeah.
So all the pennies add up to a pound mark. I used to pay one price for cable. Now you're asking me to pay 5 different prices.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
No, do you not see the problem?
Well, I do
Because I want cable will have multiple channels.
Yeah, but then hey, you know, again, I would say to you, and I mean, it might be an unfair question, but it's your choice. And you know, you're from the, you know, not mocking America, but it's the land of the free. And unfortunately, I say that in inverted commas, of course. But the problem is, if you're a believer in marketplaces and you are rejecting, which I would argue is what the whole basis of this is.
I'm not rejecting.
No, not you. But what I'm saying is, this genie that we've let out of the bottle in its various incarnations is rejecting of what you said to me. We come from a land of 4 channels. What we have here is something called public service broadcasting, universal service obligations.
We've had that.
Public service, right? You create a market, you let that genie out of the bottle, and so you basically get what you wish for, but people don't realise what's happening to them. And pretty soon it will be, like I'm a great radio listener, I don't have a television in my house, pretty soon I'm going to have a licence for a radio. Pretty soon I'm probably going to have a licence for walking on a public path. This is what we get.
Yeah.
I take your point, but I mean, Sky, you can't say Sky's cheap. I mean, Sky is like £70 a month.
Yeah.
So these things are coming into a market and they will just go in there at Netflix, £7. I mean, to me, that sounds great. I go to cinema.
So people start to equate that. Whoa, okay, I'll give up my £70 and I'll pay £40.
That's the problem
That
with
£40 would then go back to £70.
Yeah.
And either way.
But I mean, basically, you talk about monopoly. We are in a cartel world anyway. It is all but a monopoly in name. These companies, it's like the cinemas. I've got to give you the example. I want to go and see a film with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
It's supposedly his last film. It's called Phantom Thread.
Yeah, I know it.
I've got a friend who works for Cineworld. In Bolton area, we've got View, we've got Cineworld, we've got the Light Cinema. Phantom Thread isn't being shown in Bolton. And I said to my friend, why? Oh, I don't know. We can't get the film. Our distributor doesn't want us to have the film in Bolton. So they've obviously worked out that they're not going to get enough bums on seats for Daniel Day-Lewis's film. But I don't have a choice as the consumer.
Yeah.
You know? And yet there's 3 organisations and they work the prices exactly the same. And it's a cartel. So it's a monopoly that we live under.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the fallacy of choice. You go to the supermarket, you can get 15 different types of peas. Garden peas, this pea, that pea, that pea. They're all the same peas with just different labels on. Most of the time.
We're going off topic a little bit, but I will say this, Mark, is that the film industry is dying, and it's becoming the television industry. YouTube is becoming a new television.
Right.
So what streaming services are doing, they're trying to compete. And in that aspect is that it's not the cinema's fault, because the cinemas are exhibitors, exhibitors.
Yeah.
The cinemas are exhibitors, and it's actually the company that actually distributes Phantom Thread that didn't give it to them.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So what they're saying is this doesn't make us money. So for example, and I'll just give you 2 quick examples. Cloverfield Paradox, which everybody hates, and I saw it, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. But instead of releasing it in the theaters as a God particle, they released it on Netflix on the night of the Super Bowl, and it failed miserably. Annihilation, which is Natalie Portman's new movie, that was supposed to go into the cinemas, and then they decided to pull that from the cinemas, from the exhibitors, and release that on Netflix. They released Will Smith's Bright on Netflix. The point is, it's like, listen, man, Netflix is making their own films, and some of them are good, most of them are bad, but they're like, hey, you know what? We know that people don't want to go to the cinema anymore. The movie is dead. You know what I mean? The whole big community system of watching films together is dying. So in that fashion, it's a shame about the Phantom Thread, but it didn't have the buzz worth exhibiting here in the UK, which they should have, because it probably would have done better in the UK than in the US. And calling Daniel Day-Lewis's last film, nobody remembers his last 3 films.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
But then the thing about it is, Anyway,
But that's what I'm saying about the
yeah.
exclusion.
No.
That's what I'm saying about the exclusion. So if you don't create the buzz, you don't get to be seen.
No, exactly. So, finishing off, like what I was going to do, is the fact that I don't want to actually have left this stain in you to think that I'm being negative about social media, because I'm not.
Sure.
Right? I'm not at all. I love social media. But one of the things that you had stated was that people of your generation, my generation, I'm 52, so my generation and older needs this kind of education. And I just did 2 classes with an elders group at an elder home in Liverpool, where they sat around with their burner phones and their clamshells and, talking about, I don't know what my kids are on. Yeah. But I will say one thing I took out of it was a woman in her 90s was saying, I love my, phone and social media because I talk to my grandchildren every day.
Yeah.
And you know this, we don't communicate by phone anymore. We don't go over to people's houses anymore. I mean, and I can make a general statement like that because it's true. And in that aspect is that, she's able to communicate every day because she has her phone and device, because she has FaceTime. Yeah. She's able to see them more than they have to go, we gotta get everybody together and open an answer. And she's in the home and stuff, so they can communicate all the time. There are people who say that, like with the phone that they have in their mom's house or whatever, they could watch, their mother like in the living room in case something did happen. You know what I mean? Sure. And a friend of mine, that's what happened. His mother fell down the stairs, didn't find her till the next day because he had already left because he did his day visit. And then his mom, not only did she fall down the stairs, but then she crawled to the bathroom where he actually found her, broke her hip and everything like that. Thankfully, she's alive. But the point is that, of course he feels terrible. So he had to end up putting her into a home because it was like trying to respect it. My point is this technology is indeed a benefit. I'm not trying to say that it's not.
What made me make the decision that I needed to know a little bit more about the technology was because 5 years ago my nephew left home for the first time and went to Canada, I think it was, and I came to visit my brother and I walked in and the laptop's open and I walked past the laptop and Michael went, all right, Auntie Margaret Mary. And I went, who are you?
Wow.
Where are you? He went, I was completely bowled over.
You have an eyesight.
And he went, yeah. So he was on the coffee table. He was making his dinner, and his mum went into the kitchen to get her dinner, and he came and had dinner with his family.
Amazing.
With his family. And me at that particular day, and they're just having a normal conversation, and I went, no, I need to understand what's going on and how to do that.
Yeah. But how amazing is that?
That is amazing.
Their laptop is on their table like this, and they're eating, and you're joining them.
Yeah.
In your house, in a whole different place. How amazing is that?
That is absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's free. Today, I know what I just said.
But again,
about that. But wait, what I was saying, because I got family in America, that was my whole main thing, was being able to communicate. I don't communicate as much as I want. But with FaceTime, I call.
It was
all
on
the time.
Messenger. It was on.
Yeah.
What's FaceTime? It's
FaceTime is like when they can see you
on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You can even see you on your computer too.
Yeah.
But it's on, like you said, it's on your Messenger, it's on your Facebook Messenger, and it gives you an option that you can have a video option. So you don't have to just type text. You can video as well. So I do that all the time with a mate of mine in America and stuff like that. We talk every day. But in the old days, before I came here and all that kind of stuff, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Verizon, AT&T, whatever.
But it's not just expensive. Yeah, but it's not just expensive. When I was a girl, you had to go to the phone, and if you was in another country, you had to find a phone that you'd be able to connect. And sometimes you couldn't connect.
Yeah.
So whereas tea time, everybody, while he was there for a year, it was like he wasn't. It blew me head because it was like he hadn't left.
No.
the country.
No.
It was like it was here. We knew it was okay, and it was
But
just
you're
fantastic.
also a part of the family. I mean, that's the amazing
Yeah.
thing about it is that, you know, what you described, I mean, because just sitting down, I mean, it's no harm. It's like you would have sat down here anyway if you were here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like scheduling the time and doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
that's
mean, so it's
exactly
a great,
what they did.
It's a great experience what you just said. So, I mean, like, so the main thing about it is these are indeed, you know, they're good and they're bad in everything.
Yeah.
Good and bad in the streaming,
Yeah.
good and bad in cable and all that kind of stuff. But the main thing is the educational side of it. The main thing is the benefit. But you have to be aware of also the dangers, such
Yeah,
as
of
sharing
course.
things.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and that's what I'm trying to do. But the positive thing about trending is any ideas you have, that was just one idea about saving the whales, but any idea you have, why not just post it on Twitter? People either going to care or they're not. But what's great is when they retweet, which is what you always want, is that then you start trending. And you know, but if you are in the business of being at events, it's a great way of like, hey, look, I'm on my phone anyway. I can just post this about that. I can take a picture of Jamie over there in the corner. I can do all that kind of stuff, and then I can post it out, and I can go onto a trend. So, I mean, that's the main thing that I wanted to get through. I mean, you know, but I really appreciate the back and forth
Yeah.
communication
Great,
because that's also about the education side of things. But yeah, if you have to take a break, we can take a break. But
I'm
you know,
dying to get my dinner.
yeah. All right. So,
Can you just say again, please, Chase, what Sherrington means?
so Sherrington is just like a term of like because they talk about digital parenting, right?
Oh,
so Sherrington,
right.
Sherrington is a form of parents sharing their photos.
Okay.
Right, but
Yeah.
mainly it's sharing their children's photos because what they do is, like I said, example on
Yeah.
Facebook, like, you know, they're proud of their children,
Sure.
so why shouldn't they? They shouldn't be accused of doing
Yeah.
anything wrong, but they also have to be made aware that, look, if you don't want your kids out there, you
Yeah.
yourself are guilty
Yeah.
of it.
I didn't,
That's all it is.
didn't get the idea of the parenting bit to Sherrington, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
because a lot of these ideas also come from the Creative Commission that is out now with e-safety and online awareness.
Yeah.
Is the fact that they're mainly understanding that children are being like babysat by their computers.
Sure.
You know, so it's like so there's a whole thing that I talk about virtual playgrounds and virtual friends and all that kind of like you talked about the negative side of bullying, but I wouldn't say the positive side, but the other side is if you don't make friends well in the real world, you think that it's better to make friends virtually because
Yeah.
there's no like, hey, look, man, I mean, these people.
Oh no,
fool me.
okay. The plus side of it, I think MSN Messenger and WhatsApp, it is good. I mean, as a person with Asperger's syndrome, anyway, sometimes you can feel anxious on the phone talking, and that's the reason why social networking is very good, you know, in terms of that. But then my fear is it going to turn out to be like Terminator 2 necessarily? Is it going to be like the humans fighting the robots? You know, or I would laugh about it. The fact that they want to put like chips in people's hands or something
Free
to
Jack.
monitor
Remember
you.
Free Jack?
Yeah, to monitor people and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the government, the
What was
way
it
they
called? Free what?
Free Jack was one of the early movies about jacking into the network. Before The Matrix, Emilio Estevez did a movie called Free Jack.
Wow.
And what they would do is he would jack in, right, to the network and
Wow.
in the simulation, like a simulacrum like world. So now we got the new movie, Ready Player One, that Steven Spielberg just made. And that's coming out, which looks very awesome. But it's about going into a simulacrum world, you know, and like, but it's filled with all of your favorite like game characters, Nintendo, you know, Smash Brothers, all that kind of Iron Giant, and it's amazing. Ready Player One, look for it. But and the Matrix, of course, you know, it's all about hey, red pill, blue pill, whatever stuff like that, and you're living in the Matrix. But the psychology behind that was, are we all really just in the Matrix? I mean, is any of this real?
I loved
And stuff
it,
like that.
yeah. I love
you know,
that film.
and, you know, we love that little bit of science fiction. But unfortunately, you're right. I mean, you know, if you depends on different medical journals you read, there are chips that are in people's like heads and mouths. You know, like they put it in like your teeth and all that kind of stuff, and they do that. You know, like. Stupid one came out a couple years ago where like people could put a radio in their mouth.
Yeah.
And then
I
then
remember
it goes in the jaw and it goes into their ear and it's like stupid. But some
It's
people
all-
need it. I know a guy. He had like kind of like a jack chip, and what was it? It was because he had a heart attack or something like that. Or no, it was for his ear, so he could hear and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it
my
was
niece
an audio
has got
receptor.
one.
Yeah,
My niece has got one in her head.
yeah.
Right,
So.
right, yeah.
You know, I mean, technology. But anyway, let me end that by saying this was really good, and hopefully you guys got something out of
It's a
this
great session.
and everything, and then, you know, we'll come back afterwards. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank